Hello everyone, Hans from Kunidev and welcome to the Unity 6 beginner tutorial series. A tutorial which you can finish in just 5 to 10 minutes only. Today, I will show you how to create a simple player movement system using the WASD keys, and by the end of this tutorial, you have your first working movement system in Unity, which is looking something like this. Let's try it. Now I'm pressing the WASD and move our player object here. And I have a player movement script here, which I'm going to show you how to write it. Okay, so without further ado, let's get started. Okay, now let's open your Unity project. I'm using Unity 6.2 here. So let's go to the hierarchy tab, left click and create our first player game object. So in this tutorial, I'm gonna use 2D object. So I'm gonna go with 2D object, sprite and square. Okay, now let's add some graphics into it. Now I have prepared my graphics here. So let's drag and drop it onto the sprite render tab here. Okay, now our player game object is ready. You can rename it in the hierarchy here. Rename and just type in player. Now let's go to the script. If you haven't have a script folder, you can go to the assets here, left click and create new folder, and you can rename it with the script. Okay, now I have already player movement script. If this is your first time writing a script, so left click here, create and mono behavior script. I'm gonna write it here just movement to make it easier. Now double click the movement script here, let it compile for a while. So your first script will be looking something like this. Now let's type in the logic and the code for the movement script. Okay, now let's first start with the speed of our player game object. So let's type in public float move speed, and let's try in 5F. Okay, now because you want to check our WASD key every frame, we're gonna put it in the update tab here. Okay, now let's type in float x equals to 0, float y equals to 0. So what is float x and float y? This float x and float y is going to determine which directions of your player. Is it to the right, to the left, to the up and to the down? Now here is the cool part. Unity already have its own input handling, and we can use the corresponding key code to use the input handling feature in Unity. So let's try if keyboard dot current dot way key. So this is the W key in your keyboard. Dot is press. Okay. Because W is on the Y axis, so we're gonna use Y equals 1. Okay. Now let's do the S key. If keyboard dot current dot S key dot is press, enter, y equal -1. So on the left direction, on the bottom direction, we're gonna use the -1 to determine the direction. Okay, now let's go to the if keyboard dot current dot D key is press, x equals 1, X is for the horizontal directions, and the last one is if keyboard dot current dot A key is pressed, X equal -1. Okay, now for the front part, let's do the transform dot translate. Transform dot translate new vector 2. Let's insert the X and Y here times move speed times time delta time. That's it. That's the only code that you are going to write it for this simple player movement. Easy, right? So if you don't understand what is transform the translate, what is new vector, where's X and Y, move speed and time delta time, it's okay. If this is your first time writing a code, you don't have to know everything. Just think it as a predefined function inside Unity, and by the time you create more features, you will understand what is transform the translate, what is vector 2, what is move speed, and what is time and data time. So if you don't understand it right now, it's okay. Just type in the same code as you see it here. Okay, let's Ctrl save it. Now go to the player and drag and drop this movement script inside, and let's try it and play. Okay, now you can see I'm pressing WASD here, and our play game object can have a simple movement system. You can change the speed to 10 to make it go faster, or you can reduce it to 2 and it will go slower. Easy, right? So this is the most simple player movements script in Unity. Of course, it looks so simple because this is the very beginner's tutorial. Don't feel discouraged because this is your first time, but you have to thank yourself that you have start the first step in your Unity game development journey. Well, I think that's all for today's video. Thanks for watching. See you next time.